Jen Beauty. My name is Jennifer, and here on my channel I like to chat about all things beauty and makeup, and today I have my December palette ranking. This is going to be the last month that I rank palettes. After this, I will still... Hold on, I just realized the cord is dripping down and it's really annoying me. That's better. So this will be the last month that I rank palettes, but I'll still do a monthly palette roundup going forward. Just to kind of like chat about the palettes that I used, maybe talk about like favorites and like ones I could maybe live without. If it gets to be too much, talk about all of them. It was very helpful for me this year to rank palettes top to bottom because it really helped me reflect on how I truly felt about the palette. You know, intrinsically, I may feel like I love a palette or I should love a palette, but in actuality, when I look at the looks I made and my experience with it on a month-by-month basis and how it stacks up to the other palettes, I found that some of them I just didn't love as much as I thought I did or I thought I should. So coming in at, all right, we have 15. So coming in at number 15, I have the Pure Barbie palette. And this is definitely a very discontinued palette. However, it is like a statement piece in a room. Like it goes with my aesthetic in my beauty room. You wouldn't know it because, you know, I always say like it's dark like my heart or I have no soul, but I am odd. I like really pretty shiny things, pink things, purple things. It doesn't matter. So this is what the color story looks like. So I just found that I struggled to use the brown in this palette, like these neutrals with these particular shades. And there's only, I think there's only two matte shadows in here, and that is these two browns. So unless I wanted to do like an all shimmery look, which the day I was using this, I wasn't feeling it, then I had to use these two shadows. And then this is like a sequin matte, and if you've seen any of my other videos, you know how I feel about sequin mattes. And then this one is a glitter. Now, all that being said, individually, I like these shadows. I like their performance. They smell good, almost like a Tarte palette, and this still smells fantastic. It was not used or swatched whenever I received it. We did buy it from Mercari. If I end up hating it by the end of the year, I'm still going to keep it and just use it for display, but I'm going to see if I can give it some more love. Even though it's at number 15, that by no means it's a bad palette. I think I just kind of picked a lot of palettes that I knew I loved or would love and enjoy using in December, since I had worked through most palettes that I hadn't tried yet. And so even though it's last, I wouldn't say it's last in my whole collection. Coming in at number 14 is the Lethal Cosmetics, hold on, I lost the sleeve on this one. It is the Lethal Cosmetics Velvet Dusk palette. So I'm going to put this back on so that I can remember the name, because I cannot for the life of me remember it. And now I have to take it back off because I haven't shown you the palette yet. So this is what the Velvet Dusk palette looks like. I do really like the grungy tones in here. I like the Lethal formula. I found that some of the grunge was maybe a little bit too grunge for me to figure out how to work. And some of the shimmers I didn't feel like quite went with the mattes. Overall, still a great palette. Even though it's 14, it's not like, you know, not second to last in my collection. Now, number 13 is a somewhat controversial palette because you either kind of love it or hate it, and I like it. So this is the Natasha Denona Zendo palette. This was new for Christmas. So in actuality, I only used this one time. I haven't used it more than that. I did really like the look that I came up with for this one. But again, I am not really into like this mixture of like the greens and the neutrals. So I find with this, I either need to use only this side of the palette or only this side of the palette. Otherwise, I just end up not liking it. I did swatch out several shades to see what color combinations I would like. So for me, there's just like, there's not as much like creativity I feel I can do with this where I feel comfortable. But I do think that it is a beautiful formula. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. And I look forward to trying some more looks. And also I love that I can pop these out. So if I want to pop them out and change my palettes around, I absolutely can. Coming in at number 12, I have the Disney Frozen 2 ColourPop palette. This one is the Anna. And I love this little color story. It does lean a little bit more warm, which if you know me, you know that that's not really my vibe. It's just not something that I'm really drawn to, although the look I'm wearing today does lean a bit on the brown warm side, but we won't talk about that. So I really like these deep tones for winter. Like I'm just really feeling them. Again, there is a pressed glitter. I didn't use it. I have used it before, or at least swatched it to see how it would perform. I don't mind ColourPop's pressed glitter formula because it does actually stay and it doesn't flake all over my face. Not any more than like, you know, shimmers with some glitter in them do. There is a sequin matte that I don't like. I don't like how this one performs in particularly. It's okay. Beautiful palette. Coming in at number 11. Yeah, that was 12 if I didn't say. I probably did. Coming in at number 11 is the ColourPop Off Melrose palette. I actually did a 3 looks 1 palette with this by subscriber request. And well, it wasn't really subscriber request. I asked on the community tab if anyone would be interested in a 3 looks 1 palette, and this is what I chose. So I guess not technically subscriber request. Anyway, I love this. As far as ColourPop palettes go, I think this is a really good, just like staple palette. I feel the same way about this as I do the That's Taupe palette. I feel like every time I use this, I know that my look is going to be like a solid, either beautiful or at least like acceptable look for the day. It depends on my method and how I'm feeling that day. I am wearing this in several videos that I pre-filmed. I think I'm wearing like a blue sweatshirt. I'll try to link 1 or 2 below if I think about it, but I'm not sure when I will edit or if I'll be rushed to editing this. Anyways, I love this palette. I think all the shades perform really well. There's even this sequin matte that I think performs fine. I don't like this darker one, but the shimmers are beautiful. There's this, you know, duochrome shade. This is Fairfax, and it's like your typical like brown, red, almost like a blue silver shift to it. It's really beautiful. It kind of transforms the look if you put it on top of one of the browns or on top of the pink. It's very pretty. I don't think it's anything like special, you know, that you can't find at other brands, but I do feel like it's very pretty. Coming in at number 10, this is the Scooby-Doo Retro Raggy palette. I love the color story on this. The shimmers in this palette are like freaking amazing. Like they are so beautiful. I can't help it. I have to swatch them. I think I may have swatched them. Yeah, I did already in my Scooby-Doo review, but I don't care. Like, it's just, they're gorgeous. I love the sparkle, like the deep emerald green. Come on. This beautiful, like toxic lime green. I'm here for it. So, the only thing is, I like Glamlite's matte formula on lighter shades. On their darker shades, I feel like they have some room for improvement. Not that they're bad, I just don't feel like they are particularly like beginner friendly. I feel like their shimmers just kind of like perform themselves. I really feel like their packaging and their theming is like so on point. So the darker shade in both palettes, like this deepest shade, I found was a little bit patchy in both of the palettes. And if you use a like really dense brush and kind of pack it on, I do find that it kind of sticks a lot better and is not anywhere near as patchy. This is a really beautiful shade. They don't swatch as great because they're a little bit kind of drier. Like you can see that I probably will have hard pan in that from swatching. So that'll be fun to fix, but I do think that if you're a fan of Scooby-Doo, if you're a fan of Glamlite, if you like these style of shimmers, you would still really enjoy the palette. Coming in at number 9 is the Huda Beauty Rose Gold Palette Remastered. I think this is a beautiful palette, and I have loved pretty much every look that I have done with this. You can see I've played with most of the shimmers, just not this one very much. And even though I don't like gold, I still have even played with this shade, these shades, like they're beautiful. All right, sorry about that. If I am in a different place, my kids are playing right outside the window with some other kids in the neighborhood, and their mom wanted me to remind them not to leave the youngest. They had about 15 more minutes to play. So, I think the mattes are beautiful. They are lovely. I wouldn't say they're my most favorite, but they are definitely not my least favorite. I like most of the looks that I come up with in this. It pushes me a little bit outside my comfort zone, but not too far. Coming in at number 8 is the Natasha Denona Cupid palette. This is a quint, which I typically don't go for quads or quints, but I have found myself lately liking smaller palettes. I love a big palette, don't get me wrong, but I found on days when I feel like I'm rushed for time or like I just have decision fatigue that I want something that I don't have to think about. And quads and quints afford me that ability to not really have to think about things. And I think that this is a pretty solid palette for that purpose. I don't feel like it pushes me too outside my comfort zone. Like, I don't feel like it makes me think too hard about what shades I would use and where I would use them, like the Jubilee palette does. This palette is not quite as intuitive in my opinion. I like this palette and I know a lot of people don't. I like the looks that I come up with using this palette. I think the shimmers are so gorgeous. So I do enjoy this one. It's not one that I use this month. I think of it more as like a spring and summer palette. But I like this one maybe a little bit more on the days where I can't be bothered to think. I just want to sit and play and enjoy my look. Coming in at number 7, I have the ColourPop Or Kid You Not. I really wanted to try this palette to see if I wanted to depot these shades because it's a magnetic palette. I wanted to see if I wanted to pull these out and put with my other ColourPop singles. I pulled all of the monochromatic palettes out that are in this plastic packaging because I hate this packaging, and put them in a Z palette so I could make my own custom color stories. The most recent one that I made from ColourPop Shadows is this cute little one. It's just like a mauvey little moment, and I think it's really cute. I actually really like this one and I want to leave it as is, even though I don't like the plastic packaging. This one at least is able to fully close right now. And I have a couple that don't, like the clasp just won't clasp. It's very annoying, and it's not me. They arrived that way. And it felt wasteful for me to tell them and ask them for a new palette. So I do hope that they move away from these plastic packaging soon. I know that if they release another monochromatic palette, it would feel weird for a lot of people not to have it in the same packaging. You know, people that collect these, I would be annoyed if I kept mine all intact and then I have like this one other random palette that didn't fit in with these. But at the same time, I think at some point they're going to have to get rid of these because the packaging just sucks. And I feel the same way about their packaging that is like clear. It's not this, but it has like the clear top to it. They suck. Why you wouldn't use the cardboard palettes, I don't know, because they are far superior to this. Anyways, I like the look I did with this. I like the performance. Solid palette. Coming in at number 6, I have the ColourPop Star Wars palette, the Darth Vader. So this palette is part of their Star Wars collab that they have done. They have, you know, Darth Vader, they have C-3PO, the child, you know, Baby Yoda. I feel like there's at least one other one. I know there's like the big Star Wars palette, but I'm thinking of the 9 pans. Oh, the Mandalorian. Anyways, I think of all of those palettes, this might be my favorite, or it's at least my favorite for this time of year. Like this deep shade, Sith Lord, like it is an outer corner dream for me. It is gorgeous. I love the shimmers in here. I love these gray mattes. They don't look like really chalky on my lids. That is a problem I have sometimes with gray or light blue mattes because I have a lot of texture on my lids. And you wouldn't think, being as pale as I am, that, you know, a pale, like light blue or gray would look really chalky on me, but it does. It looks like I ground up some chalk from a chalkboard and threw it on there. Like that one a lot. This next palette, I know this is shocking. There's a Kaleidos palette in my top 5. I get it. Okay. Number 5 is the Kaleidos Java Coffee. I can't remember the name of it. I know it's from the Smoky Nostalgia collection. This one, the brown one. The other one I think is like, oh, Cold Brew. See, I was getting there. So this is the Cold Brew palette from the Smoky Nostalgia collection. I just think this is a solid quad. Like the formula, I love. The shimmer formula may not be some people's favorite, but it's definitely mine. I really like this, like not a lot of base pigment, but a ton of sparkle. Like that's really what I look for in a shimmer. And I feel like they perform on my eyes like they swatch. Really beautiful. Coming in at number 4, oh my God, did you see the panic on my face? I almost dropped a palette. Coming in at number 4 is the ColourPop Bye Bye Birdie palette. I've had this palette, I want to say since last Christmas. Probably. I think that's the last time my husband bought me a crap load of ColourPop. And I think he got me this one. And I finally got around to trying it in December of 2022. If not, then I've had it at least since April. And it took me until December to try it. And I'm a moron because this is a beautiful palette. Beautiful formula. Like, I love how it performed. Like, this shimmer, Ariel, and Gander, they're like more of like a creamy, but they're, you know, that shimmer topper type shade. And you can see the difference in sparkle between the ColourPop one and the Kaleidos one. Like this one has more of a base pigment and like looks really wet on the eyes. And these add just like a beautiful sparkle to the top of whatever look you've done. Like you're gonna need an actual like base under it, like a matte or a darker shimmer. Coming in at number 3, this is still one of my absolute most favorite ColourPop palettes, and it is the Menage a Moi. It is unfortunately discontinued, but if you are in the market, I am sure you could probably find it on a resale site. For people like me that own ColourPop palettes and don't even use them or only swatch 1 or 2 shades, eyeshadows are very sanitary, where you can spray them down with alcohol, wipe them down with alcohol, and you're good to go. So, well, depending how you feel. That still may not be enough for you. It is for me. Anyways, this is a beautiful color story. I love the tones in this. Hopefully I'm not blinding you. A lot of this packaging is reflective, unfortunately. I think the shimmers are gorgeous. There are 2 pressed glitters, and that is like a total downer for some people, but since I pulled all of my ColourPop singles out, if there's a pressed glitter that I don't like, or if it starts leaking into the palettes, I have started just pulling the pressed glitters out and putting a single in it from my collection that I like more. Like, I could totally use this shimmer in that palette if I wanted to, and it'd be gorgeous. I don't mind these pressed glitters though. Like, they're not bad. They're not leaking or anything, so we're gonna leave them in there. Coming in at number 2, this was actually my number 1 until my very last look of the year, and this is the BH Cosmetics Lunar New Year 2022 edit. I don't know what it is about this little bad boy. Well, big boy? I don't know what it is about this palette, but I love it. I did a holiday look with this palette, and I used this burgundy. I'm pretty sure I used the green. It's like a green based black. Anyway, I used that to deepen up the outer corner. I used this red, and like my favorite, I used the green called Jade Dragon. You know I gotta swatch it. And I don't think it's too far off from the Kaleidos formula. I had great staying power, even though I was sweating my butt off baking cookies all day. It's probably what broke our oven. Now it's dead. That's been fun. Anyway, so I really like this palette, and I feel like not a lot of people like these Lunar New Year palettes, and I think the quality is good, and I think it's the good BH Cosmetics quality that I've come to like know and love. I don't think it's as good as the shades that are in the Sweet Shop collection, but I feel like it's a really solid formula. I feel like the mattes blend really well. They don't get muddy on me. The shimmers are really pretty. And they're pretty true to pan. Like, I feel like this is pretty much what you see is what you get. And I really like that about this palette. This other shade, Bling, it's like this peachy orange shade right here, is really pretty too. It's not normally something that I go for, but I really like the like orangey yellow reflect in it. And I actually went way outside my comfort zone and used this matte green, this hot, I don't even know what you would call it. Hot light green. Anyways, I used that in my inner corner and I really enjoyed it. And then the number 1 palette for the month of December was the Druid palette from Fantasy Cosmetica. This is a small indie brand that just launched in 2022, I'm pretty sure. They have the Druid palette. They have the Sorcerer palette, which I know is over here. Where'd you go? Oh, I moved it. They have the Sorcerer palette, and this one looks like this. And then they also have the Bard palette, and the Bard palette is their most recent release, but the color story did not interest me. And I didn't even ask for these for Christmas, but I did make mention while I was watching some videos that I thought they were really beautiful and I was interested to try the formula someday. And so my husband took, you know, ran with that and was like, word, I got you. I'm gonna buy you some. And surprised me with these for Christmas. So he knows me well and knows that the Bard palette was not something I was eyeing. But ever since I have seen the Druid palette, I have been dying to wear this. It's so pretty. This shade Balance. It's this beautiful, soft, like topper shade. And then Transformation. Like, man, my alarm went off while I was in the middle of excitedly swatching the shade Transformation. So this is like the stuff that like my grungy shimmer dreams are made of. So I really like the look I did with this. Again, because it's new to me, I've only done one look, but based on that one look, I like how it turned out. I like how the shadows performed. I wouldn't say that I'm like super well versed in this formula, so I can't say like, run out and buy it, you have to have it. But I would say that if you're interested in trying the formula and you like the color story and you're interested in, you know, indie shadows, this is a beautiful palette. I really enjoyed it. So for me, for the month of December, this was my #1. So I thank you so, so much for hanging out with me today. I always appreciate it and I love interacting with you guys in the comments. I have some of the best subscribers that just bring me so much joy every time I log in and I'm able to respond. So if you like this video, I hope you'll give it a big thumbs up. And if you would like to see more makeup and beauty content from me, hit that subscribe button. Rude. Hit that subscribe button and I'll have more coming at you. I hope wherever you are, you have a wonderful day. Bye.